The stars twinkled silently in the vast expanse of space as humanity's most advanced warship, the HSS Defender, drifted at the edge of known space. Captain James Miller stood at the bridge, his weathered face reflecting off the reinforced glass as he watched the distant galaxies shine. The ship represented humanity's last hope against the Dominion, a ruthless empire that had conquered and enslaved countless civilizations across the galaxy. For 3 decades, the Dominion had systematically expanded their territory, crushing any resistance with overwhelming force. Their massive fleet of battleships had become synonymous with destruction and despair. But humanity had refused to bow down, working in secret for 15 years to create something unprecedented. The HSS Defender was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. While it appeared to be a standard destroyer-class vessel from the outside, its true nature was hidden beneath layers of experimental technology. The ship housed the most advanced AI ever created, called ARIA, Advanced Response Intelligence Array, which could process combat situations 1,000,000 times faster than organic minds. Captain Miller remembered the day when Earth's last defense line fell, and the Dominion's massive armada appeared in the solar system. The fear in people's eyes as the enemy's shadows loomed over their cities. But instead of surrendering, humanity had executed their master plan, deploying the HSS Defender on its crucial mission. "Captain," Aria's calm voice echoed through the bridge, "I'm detecting multiple Dominion signatures approaching from Sector 7. Initial analysis suggests 3 heavy cruisers and their support vessels." Miller straightened his uniform and nodded. "Just as we predicted. They couldn't resist investigating an apparently lone human warship." He turned to face his small but elite crew of 50, the best Earth had to offer. "Remember your training. We're not here to run. We're here to show the Dominion why they should have never threatened Earth." The bridge crew worked with practiced efficiency, their movements precise and coordinated. Lieutenant Tom Walker, the weapons specialist, began warming up the ship's revolutionary defense systems. Officer Emma Reed monitored the quantum communications array, maintaining their secured link with Earth Command. The Dominion ships emerged from hyperspace, their dark hulls decorated with the Empire's intimidating red insignia. Their massive forms dwarfed the HSS Defender, which appeared almost fragile in comparison. The enemy vessels moved to surround the human ship in a standard containment formation. "They're hailing us," Officer Reed reported, her voice steady despite the tension. On screen, Miller commanded, standing tall as the holographic display flickered to life. The Dominion commander appeared, a tall, imposing figure with metallic gray skin and cold, calculating eyes. "Human vessel, you have entered restricted space. Your species' defiance ends today. Surrender immediately, and your crew will be spared a painful death." Miller allowed himself a small smile. "I'm afraid we'll have to decline that generous offer. You see, we're not here to surrender. We're here to deliver a message." The Dominion commander's expression darkened. "Then you will die for your insolence. All batteries, open dash." Before he could finish the command, Aria's voice rang out. "Quantum shields at maximum. Initiating countermeasures." What happened next would be remembered in the annals of galactic history. The HSS Defender's outer hull began to shimmer with an ethereal blue light, and previously hidden weapon ports opened along its length. The ship's revolutionary quantum core pulsed with energy as Aria executed combat protocols that had been perfected through millions of simulations. The Dominion ships opened fire, expecting an easy kill. Instead, their plasma bolts dissipated harmlessly against the Defender's quantum shields. The human vessel's response was swift and devastating. "Show them what humanity is capable of," Miller ordered, his voice firm with determination. "Execute Battle Plan Alpha." The HSS Defender's true power was about to be unleashed, and the galaxy would never be the same. The HSS Defender's response to the Dominion attack was unlike anything the galaxy had witnessed before. As the enemy's plasma bolts faded against its quantum shields, the human vessel initiated its first offensive sequence. Streams of crystalline energy erupted from its ports, each beam splitting into dozens of smaller projectiles that tracked individual targets across the Dominion ship's hulls. Multiple direct hits confirmed, Lieutenant Walker reported, his fingers dancing across the tactical display. Their shields are adapting, but Arya is already calculating new frequencies. The Dominion commander's face reappeared on the screen, his previous arrogance replaced by confusion and the first hints of fear. Impossible. No single ship could possess such power. What trickery is this? Captain Miller's response was calm but carried an edge of steel. This isn't trickery, Commander. This is human ingenuity. While you were busy conquering peaceful worlds, we were preparing. Arya, demonstrate Phase 2. The AI's response was immediate. Initiating quantum displacement field. The HSS Defender seemed to blur, its outline becoming indistinct as the revolutionary technology took effect. The Dominion ship's targeting systems suddenly lost lock, their weapons firing harmlessly into empty space where the human vessel had appeared to be. By the eternal void, one of the Dominion officers could be heard cursing. It's in 3 places at once. The truth was even more remarkable. The Defender wasn't just creating duplicates, it was existing in multiple quantum states simultaneously, a feat that had been deemed theoretically impossible by every known civilization. But humanity's desperate need for survival had pushed the boundaries of physics beyond what anyone had thought possible. Officer Reed's console lit up with new data. Captain, they're calling for reinforcements. 2 heavy battlecruisers are entering the system. Perfect, Miller replied, sharing a knowing look with his crew. The more they commit to this battle, the fewer ships they'll have to threaten Earth. Arya, prepare the quantum cascade. The AI's voice held a note of caution. Captain, the quantum cascade has never been tested in actual combat. Simulations suggest a 43% chance of temporary system overload. Noted, but we proceed as planned. Humanity didn't get this far by playing it safe. The Dominion ships had regrouped, forming a tight attack formation. Their massive weapons charged for a concentrated assault that would have vaporized any normal vessel. But the HSS Defender was far from normal. Quantum cascade initiating, Arya announced. Rewriting local spacetime parameters. The effect was immediate and spectacular. A wave of distorted space expanded from the Defender's position, causing the very fabric of reality to ripple like water. The Dominion ship's energy weapons fired, but their beams curved and twisted, some even turning back on their sources. Their shield generators are overloading, Walker reported with barely contained excitement. The cascade is affecting their power distribution networks. The Dominion commander's transmission was now filled with static, his composed facade completely shattered. What are you? This defies all known laws of physics. We are humanity, Miller responded, his voice carrying the weight of his species' determination. And we're showing you why it was a mistake to threaten our home. Lieutenant Walker, target their primary power cores. Let's show them what else this ship can do. As the HSS Defender prepared its next attack, something unexpected appeared on the long-range sensors. The quantum cascade had attracted attention from elsewhere in the sector, and new ships were emerging from hyperspace. But these weren't Dominion reinforcements, they were vessels bearing the marks of other subjugated species, drawn to the impossible sight of Dominion warships being defeated by a single vessel. The battle for humanity's survival was about to become something much bigger, a catalyst for revolution across the galaxy. The arrival of the alien ships changed the entire dynamic of the battle. Captain Miller watched as vessels of various designs dropped out of hyperspace around them. Some were sleek and crystalline, others looked like ancient spacefaring cathedrals, and a few appeared to be cobbled together from salvaged Dominion parts. "Sir," Officer Reed called out, her voice filled with urgency. We're receiving transmissions from the new arrivals. They're asking to join our fight. The largest of the newly arrived ships, a massive vessel with elegant spiral structures along its hull, transmitted first. Its captain appeared on the main screen, a tall, dignified being with features that reminded Miller of Earth's ancient sea creatures. "Brave humans," the alien captain spoke in slightly accented galactic standard. "I am Admiral Thex of the former Aquarian Republic. We witnessed your ship's power against our oppressors. For 50 years, we have waited for such a moment. Allow us to stand with you." Before Miller could respond, more transmissions came flooding in. The captain of a crystalline ship identified himself as a survivor of the Silicon Collective. Another commanded what remained of the Star Tribe's defense fleet. Each had their own story of suffering under Dominion rule, and each was ready to fight. The Dominion commander's voice cut through the communications, now tinged with desperation. "This is rebellion. All ships engaging in hostile actions against the Dominion will be destroyed without mercy. Aria," Miller commanded, "analyze tactical options with our new allies." Analysis complete, the AI responded instantly. Sending tactical data packages to allied vessels. Recommended formation will maximize the effectiveness of our quantum cascade while providing coverage for their conventional weapons. Miller addressed all ships on an open channel. "This is Captain Miller of the HSS Defender. Humanity welcomes your aid. Form up according to the tactical data we're sending. Together, we'll show the Dominion that their reign of terror ends today." The rebel ships moved with surprising coordination, taking positions around the Defender. The Dominion forces, now facing not just one impossible ship but a growing fleet of determined allies, began to show signs of disarray. Multiple Dominion vessels powering up their hyperdrives, Walker reported. "They're attempting to retreat." "Not today," Miller declared. "Aria, initiate the quantum anchor." The space around the battlefield began to warp as the Defender deployed another of its revolutionary weapons. The quantum anchor created a localized field that prevented faster-than-light travel, effectively trapping the Dominion ships in normal space. The battle that followed was unlike anything in recorded galactic history. The HSS Defender's quantum weapons provided coverage while the Allied ship struck with everything they had. Aquarian plasma torpedoes phased through Dominion shields, Silicon Collective beam weapons crystallized enemy hull plating, and Star Tribe fighters executed maneuvers that seemed to defy physics. "Captain," Aria's voice held an unusual note of satisfaction, "the Dominion command ship's core is destabilizing. Their auxiliary systems are failing." The Dominion commander made one final transmission, his face contorted with rage and disbelief. "This isn't possible. We are the supreme power in the galaxy. We cannot be defeated by..." His transmission cut off as his ship's systems failed completely. The massive Dominion vessel began to break apart, its once mighty hull splitting like paper in a storm. The Allied ships erupted in celebrations, their crews broadcasting victory cries in dozens of languages. But Miller knew this was just the beginning. "Officer Reed, send word to Earth Command. Tell them Phase 1 is complete, the Defender has proven its capabilities and we've gained powerful allies. But also inform them that the real war is about to begin. The Dominion won't take this defeat lightly." As if to confirm his words, long-range sensors detected massive energy signatures. The Dominion was mobilizing its main battle fleet. The true test of humanity's ultimate weapon, and the strength of this newfound alliance, was about to begin. The next 12 hours aboard the HSS Defender were a flurry of activity. The ship's quantum core hummed with energy as Aria ran millions of battle simulations. In the main strategic room, Captain Miller stood with his new allies, reviewing holographic displays of the approaching Dominion armada. Their main battle fleet consists of over 200 warships, Admiral Thex explained, his fin-like appendages moving gracefully as he pointed to different sections of the display. The Dominion never deploys such force unless they intend total annihilation. The leader of the Silicon Collective, Commander Crystal, a rough translation of his actual name, added his insights. His crystalline form sparkled under the room's lights. Our scouts report they're bringing planet-killer weapons. They mean to make an example of this rebellion. Miller nodded grimly. Then we make our stand here. Arya, show them the plan. The AI projected a new tactical display. Analysis suggests the Dominion fleet will arrive in standard arrow formation, their most aggressive attack pattern. They believe overwhelming force is their best strategy against our quantum technologies. And that will be their downfall, Miller said, turning to address the gathered allies. The Defender's quantum cascade has a much larger range than what we've shown so far. We needed to keep that secret until the main fleet committed to battle. The Star Tribe's war chief, a tall figure wrapped in flowing robes of shifting colors, leaned forward. You plan to trap their entire fleet? Better, Miller smiled. We're going to use their own ships against them. Lieutenant Walker, explain the physics. Walker stepped forward, pulling up technical diagrams. The quantum cascade doesn't just disrupt their systems, it can temporarily rewrite the basic laws of physics in a localized area. With enough power, we can actually reverse the polarity of their weapons. Every shot they fire will hit their own ships. A murmur of amazement ran through the gathered allies. This was beyond even the most advanced technology any of them had ever encountered. But we need your help, Miller continued. The Defender will be vulnerable while charging for a cascade of that magnitude. Your ships must protect us for exactly 7 minutes. Not 1 second less. Admiral Thex straightened to his full height. The Aquarian Republic fleet pledges its ships and lives to this cause. The Silicon Collective stands with you, Commander Crystal's voice resonated like chimes. The Star Tribes will darken the stars with our fighter squadrons, the war chief declared. Officer Reed's voice came urgently over the intercom. Captain, long-range sensors show the Dominion fleet will arrive in 30 minutes. They're broadcasting on all frequencies. Put it through, Miller ordered. The holographic display shifted to show the face of the Dominion High Admiral, a being whose cybernetic enhancements made him appear more machine than organic. This is your final warning to all rebel forces. Surrender now, and your deaths will be quick. Resist, and we will ensure your species are erased from history itself. Miller looked at his allies, saw the determination in their faces, and responded. High Admiral, we have a different proposal. You're about to learn why the galaxy should have remained free. As the transmission cut off, the Allied fleet took their positions. The Aquarian ships formed a defensive sphere around the Defender, their advanced shields linking together. Silicon Collective vessels positioned themselves at strategic points, their crystalline weapons charging. Star Tribe fighters zipped into formation, hundreds of small craft ready to harass the enemy fleet. Arya, Miller commanded as he returned to the Defender's bridge, begin charging the main quantum cascade. Divert all non-essential power. Charging initiated, Captain. Time to full power, 7 minutes. Dominion fleet will arrive in 28 minutes. Miller watched as the massive enemy fleet drew closer on the tactical display. Everything humanity had worked for, all the sacrifices and technological breakthroughs, had led to this moment. The next half hour would determine not just Earth's fate, but the freedom of an entire galaxy. All hands, he announced shipwide, prepare for the battle of our lives. The void of space erupted into chaos as the Dominion fleet dropped out of hyperspace. Their ships filled the star-filled backdrop like a swarm of metal insects, weapons already charging. The sight would have struck terror into the hearts of most beings, but the Allied fleet held firm. Dominion fleet has arrived, Arya announced calmly. 4 minutes remaining until quantum cascade reaches full charge. The High Admiral's voice boomed across all channels. All batteries, open fire. Crush these insects. The space between the fleets lit up with energy weapons, torpedoes, and beam weapons of all kinds. The Aquarian defense sphere took the brunt of the initial assault, their linked shields glowing bright under the strain but holding firm. Aquarian shields at 60%. Admiral Thex reported. But we'll hold. The Silicon Collective's ships responded with precision strikes, their crystalline beam weapons targeting the Dominion's forward batteries. Where the beams hit, enemy hull plating transformed into brittle crystal, shattering under its own weight. 3 minutes to full charge, Aria updated. Star Tribe fighters darted between the massive ships like schools of fish, their unusual flight patterns making them nearly impossible to target. They struck at crucial points, weapons arrays, sensor nodes, shield generators, then vanished before the Dominion gunners could respond. The Dominion's frustration showed as they began deploying their planet-killer weapons. Massive cannons extended from their largest ships, gathering dark energy that could crack worlds. They're preparing to fire the planet killers. Walker shouted. Miller's voice remained steady. Hold position. Aria, time check. 2 minutes, 30 seconds to full charge. Detecting massive energy buildup from Dominion capital ships. The battle reached a new level of intensity. Several Aquarian ships fell, creating gaps in the defensive sphere. Silicon Collective vessels moved to fill the breaches, sacrificing themselves to maintain the protection around the defender. Star Tribe fighters flew suicide runs into the planet-killer weapon ports, their ships exploding to delay the charging process. 1 minute remaining, Aria announced. Quantum cascade at 90%. The High Admiral appeared on screen again, his cybernetic eyes glowing with rage. Your pathetic alliance cannot save you. Watch as we demonstrate true power. The first planet-killer weapon fired, its beam of concentrated dark energy heading straight for the defender. At the last second, an Aquarian cruiser moved into its path, its shields flaring brilliantly as the ship was torn apart. 30 seconds, Aria continued. Quantum cascade preparing for full disbursement. Miller opened a channel to all Allied ships. Break away. Get clear of the cascade range. The surviving Allied vessels began their retreat, but the Dominion fleet pressed forward, thinking they had won. The High Admiral's laughter echoed through the communications. Yes, run. Your mighty human weapon has failed. Now witness dash. Quantum cascade fully charged, Aria interrupted. Executing now. The HSS Defender's hull began to glow with an intensity that rivaled nearby stars. The quantum cascade burst forth like a new sun being born, expanding outward in a perfect sphere of reality-warping energy. It engulfed the Dominion fleet, and for a moment, everything seemed to freeze. Then physics itself rebelled against the Dominion. Their energy weapons twisted back on themselves. Their shields began protecting the space around their ships instead of the ships themselves. Their armor plating started phasing in and out of normal spacetime. By all that's sacred, Admiral Thex whispered as he watched from his backup command ship. They've done it. The Dominion fleet broke apart from within. Ships crashed into each other as their navigation systems reversed. Weapons exploded in their housings. The mighty planet-killer beams curved through impossible angles to strike their own vessels. The High Admiral's final transmission showed pure fear. What have you done to us? We've done exactly what we promised, Miller responded. We've shown you why humanity should have been left in peace. Aria, execute final stage. Executing quantum cascade collapse sequence, the AI confirmed. Prepare for aftershock. The cascade began to pull back toward the defender, and as it did, it dragged the laws of physics back to normal, but the damage was done. The once mighty Dominion fleet was now little more than scattered debris and crippled hulks. In the eerie calm following the battle, the HSS Defender drifted among the scattered remains of the Dominion fleet. The quantum cascade had left strange patterns in space itself, like ripples in a cosmic pond. Emergency beacons flickered among the wreckage, their signals weak and distorted. "Aria, status report," Miller ordered, his voice showing the first signs of fatigue after the intense battle. "Quantum core stabilizing at 60% capacity. Hull integrity at 78%. No casualties among our crew. Receiving status updates from Allied vessels." The bridge crew watched in amazement as their long-range sensors lit up with new signals. The news of the Dominion fleet's destruction was spreading across the galaxy at FTL speeds, carried by quantum communication relays that the Dominion themselves had built. "Sir," Officer Reed called out, her console nearly overwhelmed with incoming transmissions. "We're receiving reports from across Dominion space. Their control is collapsing. Colonies and outposts are declaring independence. Their remaining ships are either surrendering or fleeing." Admiral Thex's image appeared on the main screen, his usually composed features showing clear excitement. "Captain Miller, the Aquarian home system has already risen up. Our people are retaking our planets as we speak. The Dominion garrisons are laying down their arms." Similar reports came in from the Silicon Collective and the Star Tribes. The Dominion's iron grip on the galaxy was crumbling like a house of cards. Without their main fleet to project power, their entire empire was dissolving in a matter of hours. "Lieutenant Walker," Miller turned to his weapons officer, "begin compiling combat data. Every Allied species will need to know how to defend against any remaining Dominion forces." "Already on it, sir," Walker responded, his fingers flying over his console. "Aria is helping me prepare detailed tactical packages for distribution to our allies." The war chief of the Star Tribes transmitted next, his image showing him aboard one of their swift corvettes. "My fast ships are spreading the word to every corner of known space. The Dominion's fall is being celebrated on 1,000 worlds. But..." He paused meaningfully, "there is concern about what comes next." Miller understood the unspoken question. In the power vacuum left by the Dominion's collapse, many feared that Earth might attempt to establish its own empire. The captain knew his next words would be recorded in history books across the galaxy. "This is Captain Miller of the HSS Defender to all free peoples of the galaxy," he began, his transmission being picked up and rebroadcast by every functioning relay in range. "Humanity did not develop our technology to become conquerors. We built the Defender for one purpose, to ensure that no species would ever again threaten the freedom of others." He continued, his voice carrying the weight of humanity's promise to the stars. "We propose the formation of a Galactic Defense Council, where all species will have an equal voice. The HSS Defender and its quantum technologies will serve not as a weapon of domination, but as a guardian of liberty." The response was immediate and overwhelming. Species that had been bitter enemies under Dominion rule now reached out to each other in friendship. Ancient trade routes reopened. Cultural exchanges began. The galaxy was awakening to a new era of freedom and cooperation. "Captain," Aria interrupted the celebrations, "I'm detecting unusual quantum readings from the wreckage field. Several Dominion ships are showing signs of core instability." Miller's expression hardened. They wouldn't. But they had. The Dominion, in their final act of defiance, had set their fallen ships to overload, creating a chain reaction that could tear apart the fabric of spacetime itself in this sector. "All Allied ships, clear the area immediately," Miller ordered. "Aria, prepare for emergency quantum containment. We didn't come this far to let them have one final victory." The HSS Defender moved toward the growing danger, its quantum systems powering up once again. The war might have been won, but humanity's greatest challenge was not quite over. The combined fleets retreated to a safe distance as the HSS Defender approached the deteriorating Dominion wreckage. The ship's quantum cores were creating a cascading reaction that threatened to tear a hole in spacetime itself. Energy readings were off the charts, creating aurora-like patterns across the battlefield. Analysis complete, Arya reported. The Dominion ships are generating a quantum singularity. Once it reaches critical mass, it will create a rupture that will consume everything within 3 light-years. Miller gripped his command chair. Options? Standard containment procedures would be insufficient, the AI responded. However, I have formulated an alternative approach. We can use our quantum cascade technology in reverse. Lieutenant Walker looked up from his station. You mean instead of disrupting physics, we stabilize it? Precisely, Arya confirmed. But it will require channeling all power through the quantum core, including life support reserves. Success probability, 63%. Miller opened a channel to the Allied fleet. All ships maintain your distance. Whatever happens, do not approach until you receive an all-clear signal. He then turned to his crew. This is volunteer only. Anyone who wants to evacuate, now's your chance. Not a single crew member moved from their station. Very well, Miller nodded proudly. Arya, begin the sequence. Let's finish what we started. The Defender moved closer to the growing anomaly, its quantum shields straining against the increasing gravitational forces. The ship's hull creaked under the pressure as reality itself began to warp around them. Initiating reverse cascade, Arya announced. Power systems redirecting to quantum core. The lights on the bridge dimmed as every scrap of energy was diverted to the task. The temperature began to drop as life support powered down. Each crew member's breath became visible in the increasingly cold air. Core reaching maximum capacity, Walker reported through chattering teeth. Hull integrity at 40% and falling. The viewing screens showed a spectacular but terrifying sight. The quantum singularity had grown to massive proportions, its swirling energy threatening to tear the ship apart. But the Defender's reverse cascade was beginning to take effect, creating a sphere of stable spacetime that pushed back against the chaos. We need more power. Miller demanded. Rerouting emergency reserves, Arya responded. Warning, system overload imminent. Officer Reed's fingers were nearly frozen as she worked her console. Sir, we're receiving transmissions from the Allied fleet. They're offering to transfer power from their ships to ours. Miller's eyes widened. Can we receive it? Theoretically, Arya confirmed. But the power transfer would burn out their systems. They would be stranded. Without hesitation, energy beams from dozens of Allied ships connected with the Defender. Aquarian plasma feeds, silicon collective crystal energy, and Star Tribe quantum batteries, all flowing into humanity's ship. Power surge detected, Arya announced. Quantum core stabilizing. Reverse cascade reaching critical mass. The battle between order and chaos reached its peak. The Defender's hull glowed white-hot as it channeled unprecedented amounts of energy. The quantum singularity fought back, trying to tear apart the very fabric of space. Then, in a final burst of light that briefly outshone the nearby stars, the singularity collapsed. The reverse cascade had worked, stabilizing the ruptured spacetime and neutralizing the threat. As emergency power restored life support and main systems, the bridge crew broke into exhausted cheers. They had survived the impossible, not once but twice in a single day. Damage report? Miller asked, his voice hoarse. The quantum core is depleted but intact, Arya reported. Hull damage extensive but reparable. Allied vessels are without power but their crews are safe. We're receiving rescue ships from nearby systems. Miller opened a general broadcast channel. This is Captain Miller of the HSS Defender to all ships and stations. The crisis is over. The Dominion is finished. Let the history books record that on this day, it wasn't just humanity that saved the galaxy, it was all of us, working together. As rescue operations began and cleanup crews moved in, the HSS Defender stood as a symbol of what was possible when determination met innovation, and when different species united for a common cause. The galaxy was entering a new age of peace, cooperation, and discovery. The story of how humanity's lone warship helped topple an empire would be told for generations to come, not as a tale of conquest, but as a reminder that true strength lies in unity, and that freedom is worth any price.